guys, for today's video we got some new mods for Farming Simulator 25. There's a couple good ones in here. There's a map, a couple other cool ones that I am a fan of, so it seems like the mods are finally trickling in pretty consistently, which is good, you know, no longer just having like one map option and some other stuff. So anyways, let's get into the list. And as you guys can see here, there's about 16 new mods. There's a lot of sheds and stuff like always, so, you know, not really going to get into those too much. But the first one we have here that is a little cooler is we got a JCB telehandler. Nothing too fancy with this one, but, you know, just another option for telehandlers, which is pretty cool. The next one we have here is this Palfinger FLC 253 forklift. This thing's pretty awesome. Right, so what this thing is it's a forklift, but it's got a kind of a cool feature, a couple cool features. It's really nice for loading and unloading pallets and things like that. You do have to buy special trailers for it, so if you click on here, you can get combinations, and you'll see the three that work with it specifically. But basically what it allows you to do is put it in a transport mode. So if I pull into this, back into this trailer, and then I hop in the truck, I can hit X, and then this forklift will attach to the trailer. That's super nice, so that way you can, you know, drive around with it. If you go to like deliver stuff, you can take your forklift with you. So as you can see, I'm taking it with me here on the truck, and it's just attached to the back. That way you don't have to drive it separately or trying to load it separately. It just attaches nicely to the back of the truck. But other than that, it's also just kind of a nice forklift. It's got a couple different features you can use. So if I back it off here, got a rear wheel drive with pretty good turn radius, right? You can do 360s with it. It makes it pretty easy to handle. And not only that, but you have work mode, transportation mode. So I go to work mode. You know, you can raise it, lower it just like you normally do. Tilt it just like you normally do. But what you can also do, you can forks like you normally do. You can go in and out, which is super nice. Or you can go way out with this thing. Super easy to line up for those reasons, or if you're trying to do two pallets, things like that. And if you hold this and hit L3, you can also shift the steering and line up perfectly left and right like this, so it's super easy to load up a bunch of pallets. But either way, it might be the best forklift just for those reasons, but it also attaches to the trailers, which is, you know, just makes it even that much better. And lastly, and probably most exciting, is we finally got a new map, Colmon Farm. I believe this was in FS22 as well. It's a pretty good map. It's got decent-sized fields. Let's get into some of the details here. So I'm in the overview of this map here, and as you can see, it's got some pretty good-sized fields, right? If you do the starter farm, you start with a lot of good land, right? You got this big field here, these two fields, you get these three. But it really sets you up to do a dairy if you really want to get into that. It's kind of the only map that has that set up from the get-go, and that's a really expensive thing to get into if you're trying to play through, but it starts you set up for it. So if we go around the map a little bit here, the field you start with, you know, your grass, your hay, it's got all the materials and stuff you need. You got your silage pit, you got your cattle barn, your whole dairy operation here, right? You got a grass field, manure spreader, that sort of thing. So the starting farm's probably the best in the game for that kind of thing. Also looks pretty good. You got a lot of cool looking things. Looks like there's some solar panels on here, so you'll get some income as well. And like I said, you got this big old field that you'll have, so you'll be making money pretty quick. You start with, you know, a number of good equipment, decent harvester. You don't start that little mossy Ferguson like you usually do in these starter farms, which is kind of nice. There are some downsides to this map, right? It's a good looking map, but some of the issues I found with it is kind of a personal thing. If you're doing a realistic playthrough, it's great. But as you can see here, I'm going to drive through the middle of the map, and it is pretty narrow. And the gates always sure shut, right? So you got to open gates all the time if you want to get to any of the good fields. You got to go in and out of the gates, which isn't a huge deal, but you know it can be tedious if you're trying to farm a lot of stuff. But I drive down this main road here, and as you can see, it is very narrow. You're not going to get a big combine down here very easily at all. And kind of hard to get anywhere through the map. This is right up the middle of the whole map, so you can't really even avoid it necessarily. And if you're going to go sell, you're kind of stuck going through, you know, these tight streets, which is a little tedious, especially if you got traffic on. You run into another car, there's not a lot of space for them to even get around you. So that's some of the downsides, but like I said, still a pretty good map. A lot of big fields. Nice big wooded section here if you're in a logging, couple of them. Like I said, a couple of really big fields. You can combine them decently easy. They're not super square. A couple of them are decently square, but you can't like make a super field super easily. That's nice and square. That's not the end of the world. The fields are big enough. The store's over on this right side. Decent drive over to your starting farm, but it's not too bad. And it's one just main road. And as you can see, the map looks really nice. It's got like an actual design to it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, overall, pretty good map. Definitely better than I think the base game ones. It's different at least. Gives you more to do, and definitely better than New Frontiers. So yeah, just try it out. Yeah, and that's kind of all we have for the mods for this new update. Nothing too crazy, right? You got some more sheds and things like that, but these aren't too groundbreaking. You got this John Deere here, which is decent, but nothing too fancy. I don't even know what this lizard thing is. And then you got weights for telehandlers, which I guess is kind of niche, but could be useful if you really want to be plying with your telehandlers. Don't know why you do that, but I guess it's there. A couple small sheds, cattle stable, and a farmhouse or two, but the rest aren't really worth getting into too much. So anyways, we got for this video, nothing too crazy with this update, but we do got the new map, which is pretty sick. So try it out. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know what you guys think of the new map and all these mods. What's your favorite? Are you happy that they're finally adding some new maps? Is there any mods that you really hope that they add in the future? Leave in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.